What's going on, everybody? I'm Coach Anthony of More Than Human Fitness. Today, I'm going to go over the 6 punches that you'll find regularly in sports like boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. I'm also going to go over ways that you can implement them, ways that I teach for my students, and things that I do for myself. Before we get into today's lesson, already a member, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like this video, go through the list, like other videos. Please let the algorithm know what we're trying to do here, trying to jump this up. I want to get to 10,000 subs before the year is out. And hopefully by January, I can get to 100,000 subs. I know it's a big jump, but with you all's help, I can make it happen. Let's get into today's lesson. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to boxing, if you're new to kickboxing, if you're new to MMA, I want you to pay close attention. There are 6 main punches that I teach in my classes. They are the jab, the cross, the hook. They are the jab, the cross, the lead hook, the rear uppercut, the lead uppercut, and the rear hook. And one starting with the jab. Jab is used to create distance. It's used to keep an opponent away from you. You can use the jab to close distance, so you can implement more strikes in a different area. It's used to stun an opponent. A jab has many different functions. If we call boxing chess, the jab is most definitely your queen. Move on many ways. Next up will be your cross. Next most used punch is probably going to be your cross. The cross has 1 or 2 functions. If this is chess again, the cross will probably be your knight. It can go, you can throw it powerfully. You can throw it kind of from a stable position. You can pick different places on the body to hit quite easily. I can go to the body. I can go to the head. If this is MMA or kickboxing, I can even throw a cross right to somebody's legs. It won't hurt them, but it'll confuse the fuck out of them. The cross has a couple different functions. I can step off and throw it. I can step into it and throw it. The cross is not as important as the jab, but it's very versatile. So it's definitely the knight piece on the chessboard of boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. Next punch is going to be your hook. The hook is going to be the rook of the chessboard. It's just like on the chessboard. The rook can go super far, both this way, and it'll take everything out in its path. So just like the hook is a powerful punch. It can travel to the body or the head, or whatever direction it goes, it's clearing the way. Like when someone gets hit with a hook, they feel it. There's no getting around it. So, boom, throw that hook, power. So to super simplify, these next 2 punches are the rear uppercut and the lead uppercut. We're going to call those our bishops. Okay, so rear uppercut, lead uppercut. They even kind of make the same movements on the chessboard. They like how the bishop goes diagonally. They kind of go diagonally too. Even to the head, it's kind of like you shift off and you throw diagonally. So we're going to call our uppercuts our bishops. And a lot of times with the uppercuts, they're powerful punches, but they're really set up shots for something else. So they have a couple different functions. So an uppercut by itself can be devastatingly powerful, but it's better when paired with something else. You use a jab to set up an uppercut, or you throw an uppercut hook, or you throw uppercut rear hook, or uppercut overhand. An uppercut by itself is good, but an uppercut paired with something else is way more effective. This last punch is a rear hook. I don't really teach that to many people outside of pad work and or fighters, because it definitely is a sacrificial punch. When you throw a rear hook, you see how the position of my body's all the way twisted up. I'm in a bad position for a counter. So if you throw a rear hook, it really has to be like, this is the end of the fight. Like you're taking this person out and you're throwing this punch to finish them. It's not something I teach people to throw as an immediate. It's not something I teach people to throw as an immediate. I teach people to throw this when they're about to finish that fight. So we're gonna call it our pawn. It's sacrificial. Not It's like a pawn because it's a throwaway punch, like it's sacrificial, but not like a pawn where it's that important. You can go a whole fight without throwing a rear hook and you can still win many of your fights. Now, how I would set each one up is all about how you like to do it, but I do have a few fundamental patterns of movement, few fundamental rules that I follow. For the jab, when I step into the jab, you can step single foot, back leg doesn't move. When you do that, you step with your head on the line because you're planning on going forward. There's also the step and slip. That is widely used by me when I know somebody has a good counter system. And what that means is if you get two fighters, sometimes they're super jittery and don't want to commit, or sometimes they're both experienced and they're kind of like waiting to see what the other is going to do. And what happens is like one will begin to attack and that other one uses that as a trigger to start to counter. This jab I use splits that counter because a good fighter is going to throw where their head was and try to beat them to the punch. And an even better fighter is not going to be there at the end of it. So what happens is as that counter comes at my head with my jab, I step and slip at the same time. And then I throw my punch. I can use that to here and get straight back, or I can use it to get here and then move forward. Another way you can use a jab is you can use it as you're moving out to just kind of annoy, to get to a different area on the floor and to keep your opponent confused the entire time. Instead of just going here forward, you can kind of like tuck your chin instead of going here straight forward or going here. I kind of tuck my chin into my shoulder, into my collarbone to protect myself as I'm circling around. As I do that, I'm able to move my feet, and then I can get to a better position to begin to open up on my opponent. The cross can be a little bit different. You're kind of going straight forward with the cross, but again, it's about the footwork positioning. So when I throw my cross, I can step and rotate, much like the jab, or I can step, plant my feet, and then rotate. One of the things that I always teach people when they throw their cross is allow your head to come off the center line, but always throw your punch straight down the line. So I go here, when my punch comes, I'm not trying to do this. In order to get the best range and not get hit with something coming back, I have to rotate my body, but I keep my head facing my opponent, like my eyes locked on them, not my head. I don't want to be in the same spot, but I do want to keep my eyes, my direct line of sight locked on them. I don't want to be looking at them out on peripherals because the peripherals are a terrible way to deal with oncoming attacks. I do want to go here. Notice how my punch goes straight down the line, even though my head is off the center line. So whenever you throw your punch, your cross, it should happen. You should always be coming off the center line. Feet movement again, step, cross, or step. So next up is the hook. And a lot of people teach the hook fundamentally, but then don't go further into it. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go further into it. Now, when you first learn the hook, you're taught to turn, keep everything in line. Nothing's supposed to break that plane. And when you first taught the hook, you're taught to tuck your chin, turn, bring everything back. Turn, bring everything back. You're taught not to break that plane, that the arm should be right in front of your face. And that's because a lot of beginners don't understand how to not drop their arm when they throw their hook because they think it gives them more power. As you get more and more better with your fundamentals, and if you actually spar, you'll start to see that this only works when the person's hands are down. But what happens to work better is this, keeping that arm up. See how, and what happens is my arm comes around. The thing that messes a lot of people up is when they first begin, and why they don't teach it is that when people first learn how to throw the hook, they do this. There's this like direct line right to their face, and then this is bad habit. They end up leaning into their strike. But if you have been doing this for a while, you will understand that in order to get around somebody's guard, to hit their ear, because if you don't, you'll just run into their guard trying to do this all the time. You have to open your arm up away from yourself. The way that you correct that direct line of sight to your face shot is before you open up, turn your body. And that gives you that looping around, but also protects you from those direct shots down the face. So notice how when you throw that hook, turn, then let the hook go. Turn, then let the hook go. Turn, then big hook shot. A little uppercut honorable mention. When I want to get to this side of the body, say I want to just rip that to the body real quick, what I want to do is I kind of want to split the difference. Now, they tell you all the time, don't ever have your feet like this, but I find more success getting to this uppercut to the body when I kind of split this difference, and then I can rip it, and either I can move forward or I can go right back to my original position and continue to attack. So when you want to get that rear uppercut to the body, say I slip their jab or their cross, and I just try to get this, I overextend myself. So instead I slip, or I slip and step, or I slip, step, then hit, but I prefer to go slip, step, hit that body, followed up with like a rear hook or something, If you enjoyed part 1, come back for part 2, because we're going over the rest of the punches in the series. I'm Coach Anthony of More Than Human Fitness. Thank you for joining us for this 6-punch series. Come back again because we'll be having a lot more, and we really do appreciate you. If you haven't already, turn on your notification bell after subscribing to the channel. Like this like this video. Let the algorithm know that y'all are enjoying the content you're seeing. And we'll see you again next time.
This is where you gotta push past your limits. If you don't, then your path ends here.